Hey everybody, Karen from Master Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. So we are going to have a conversation with Wayne Dyer, I think, or the LTC, the Lead Team Collective. I did a call out for you to ask questions about Wayne Dyer and John of God, actually. Now, we didn't get enough questions to do two separate episodes, so I'm actually going to combine this. So we have Wayne Dyer and John of God. If you don't know who John of God is, he was someone who he was quite popular, and you'll have to go read about him. Actually, I'll read a little bit about him for you. But he supposedly did healings on people, and Wayne Dyer and Oprah both felt he was legitimate because they both used his services. And it turned out that he wasn't. And I believe he's in prison right now. So not doing very nice things. So kind of interesting. So it is a little weird that we're combining the Wayne Dyer and John of God questions, but it might be interesting at the same time. I don't know. But because Wayne did find and utilize John of God for what Wayne thought he healed him, actually, which is quite interesting. So we're going to find out what your questions, what the lead team or Wayne says about your questions. So let's look at who both of those people are real quick, and I'll read a brief description, and then we'll go into answering. You've got 10 questions for Wayne, and then you had a little bit more, 15 questions about John of God. Oh, a little bit more than that, actually. Okay. So Wayne Dyer was born in 1940, and he transitioned in 2015. He was highly influential American self-help author and motivational speaker. So he did write the book Your Erroneous Zones in 1976. His teachings span personal responsibility, motivation, and spirituality, ultimately shifting towards the power of manifestation and the law of attraction. Okay. And then John of God, so he's a disgraced Brazilian faith healer and self-proclaimed medium. So he operated out of Brazil. He achieved international fame for claiming to perform miraculous, bloodless spiritual surgeries without anesthesia before his empire collapsed amid hundreds of allegations of S-E-X-A. So, for decades, millions of believers and international celebrities flocked to his spiritual center in Brazil. However, his practices were widely debunked by skeptics and investigators as carnival tricks. In late 2018, his reputation was shattered when hundreds of women came forward accusing him of those things. And violation through fraud. Okay, yeah. He was subsequently arrested, convicted, and sentenced to decades in prison for his crimes. So he is in prison right now. So I remember Wayne talking about when he went to see John of God, because Wayne had leukemia. And then his leukemia went into remission. Now I'm going to believe that's because Wayne had such a belief that John of God was doing that his body then healed itself. But Wayne ultimately did end up passing from leukemia. So, but then I remember Oprah going, and I was just like, what? So interesting. So I don't know what Oprah would say. Let me see if there's anything about what Oprah says today. Okay, that's interesting. So this is AI overview, so you just have to, take it with a grain of salt. But so Oprah Winfrey does not speak about the Brazilian faith healer John of God today. After initially featuring him on the Oprah Winfrey Show in 2010 and visiting his spiritual center in Brazil for Oprah's next chapter in 2013, She entirely distanced herself from him. Well, of course she would. I mean, everybody wants to. I'm not blaming her for that. Following over 600 allegations, 600 of SA and human trafficking, which eventually resulted in an accumulated prison sentence of hundreds of years, Oprah publicly stated, I empathize. It actually says empathize. No, I empathize with the women now coming forward and hope justice is served. She subsequently deleted all references to the healer and the interviews from her digital platform. So it's interesting because I do think, like, if that was me, what I would do is I would have done a whole follow-up video on what was it that I saw and believed in, and what did I learn from that? Like, I really wish Oprah's had enough time. I mean, that was 2013 that she aired, and she's had enough time to think about that. And as a public figure, I personally would love to see her come out and say, what did I get wrong? And why did I get it wrong? Upon self-reflection, I think that would just be, that's what I would do, you know? If there was something so obviously, like I so obviously got something wrong, just to help all of us just heal together and grow together, I think that would be a cool thing. But that's me. Okay, so let's find out. I'll say our prayer and then ask these questions. I'll see if they want to talk directly to Wayne. And I don't know, to John of God's higher self. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, so I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, the lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light. And ask Archangel Michael to please protect my channel, your channel, the lead team collective, and our community, so it is all of the highest and purest light. Amen. Hey, lead team, thank you so much for partnering with us. Very much appreciated. So we have these questions. Can you see the questions in front of me from the community for or about Wayne Dyer and John of God? Do you want to answer those questions today? Oh, yes. Okay. Or should we call in Wayne? No. Okay. Should we talk to the higher self of John of God? No. They don't often do that, so that's interesting. So you guys will have to let me know, why do you think the lead team? Because I don't know. Let me know what you think, and I could always ask them questions, follow up later. But why do you think they want to ask rather than us call? I mean, Wayne has been transitioned quite a long time ago. It's been 11 years. So, and maybe they don't want us to talk to the higher self of John of God because there's just too much dark around that or something. I don't know, maybe lower vibration. I mean, I can certainly ask them. Well, let me ask a few questions. So I just don't know why. I can't think of a question off the top of my head why they wouldn't want us to talk to Wayne. So is Wayne just not in a position to answer our questions? Yes. Okay. His higher self is not in a position? No. Okay. All right. And is John of God's vibration there's no reason to talk to his higher self? Yes. Okay. Is his vibration too low for this conversation? No. Meaning, would you prefer we didn't ask questions about John of God? No. Okay. So the questions in front of me, you're comfortable with us pursuing? Yes. Okay. All right. So the lead team's going to answer the questions. Okay. So the questions about Wayne Dyer. Was Wayne surprised by anything he'd seen on the other side when he transitioned? Yes. Was it different than what he expected it from what he taught? Yes. But he meditated and he was able, my understanding is, to see the other dimensions. Yes. but he's still, I guess we all see what we can see. We're all going to see different things and what our higher self wants us to see when we're in human form. Yes. And so there was some things that surprised him when he transitioned. Yes. Was he pleasantly surprised when he transitioned? Yes. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Was everything what he thought it would be? No. Okay. I can't say 100% what he thought it would be, so it'd be hard for me to do follow-up questions, but did he find himself in what he would think, or what the Bible would say would be like a traditional, I don't even know if the Bible says that, what people think is a traditional heaven? Is that where he found himself? No. Okay. Is that where he was surprised? Yes. Okay. We'll see what you guys come up with additional questions. Okay, so knowing what Wayne knows now after his transition, would he say that the Tao Te Ching, I think it's Tao Te Ching, is inspired, as inspired as you believed it was while he was on Earth? See, these questions are written as if I'm going to ask him. Yes. Okay. So there is something to the Tao Te Ching, Tao, then a separate word, Te, and then a separate word, Ching. Okay. Let me just look that up real quick so we can all be on the same page. Okay, so the Tao Te Ching is a foundational ancient Chinese text central to Taoism, written around the 4th century BC and traditionally attributed to the sage Laozes. I don't know how to pronounce that. Laozi. It offers poetic, paradoxical guidance on living in harmony with the natural order of the universe, embracing simplicity and practicing effortless action. I kind of like that. Those words work for me. Effortless action. Okay, so there was the Tao, the way, the underlining, unnameable essence of the universe. It is the force that flows through all things, representing nature and the natural order. I can see us doing a whole separate episode on this concept. I would really enjoy doing that. I will figure out how to pronounce stuff before I come on. That's interesting. Yeah, I'll do a call out for questions on this one, you guys. Okay, so back to the questions. So the lead team is saying there is something to that. Okay, is the Tao Te Ching something you would have us explore further? Yes, really wide swing on that. Okay. Would Wayne add anything now that he's transitioned? Would he add anything more to it now that he's transitioned? No. Is there anything he believed while he was living that he now realizes isn't accurate? Yes, but I'm not sure I would be able to delineate what that is, Okay, does his spirit still see life on Earth as life is but a dream? Yes, his spirit does see that. Or is that song simply meant to comfort us during difficult times? Life is but a dream. A lot of people say, like, I've been hearing, and I can't quite get my head wrapped around that yet, but, like these walls that they're not actually there. Like, this is all a construct that's made up in our, I haven't quite gotten my head wrapped around that yet. I actually understand timelines and dimensions. I could, 9 months ago, I was saying the same thing I am about, like, I don't understand how these walls are not really here. It's just part of our the matrix or whatever, so that whole thing is kind of interesting to me. But life is but a dream, so he is saying that life is but a dream. Okay, so your spirit still sees it that way. Yes. Is that because, lead team, I guess I'm talking to Wayne, it's kind of hard, is that because life is but a dream? Yes. So again, this might bring up a whole bunch of other questions that, again, we can do call outs for full, episodes to discuss. Every time we have conversations here, it always brings up, 20 more questions. These will be endless conversations. Okay. Is Wayne continuing to help humanity from the other side or from the other dimension he's in? Yes. Very cool. Is Wayne just super busy right now, which is why he couldn't talk to us? Yes. Okay. He's super busy. But I thought you could do a whole bunch of multiple things at once. Yes. All right. Okay. Did Wayne's faith in John of God influence his decision to go see him when he was ill? Yes. Interesting. So Wayne was he went into remission then after he saw John of God. Yes. Was that because of anything John of God did? Which is an awful name now that I think about it. No, John of God. No. Was it because of his belief in what he was doing? Yes, that's how powerful our beliefs are. He just manifested it basically. So from Wayne's perspective, will there be 3 days of darkness? Yes. So if we were to talk to Wayne's spirit, would his spirit say that there will be a 3 days of darkness on Earth for humanity? Yes. Is it the same thing that Ann Tucker talks about with the flash of light? Yes. And that we've done 3 days of darkness videos. We can always do more to do a check-in about it. Don't be afraid of it. I don't think there's anything to be afraid of. You could go to the channel, our channel, and just type in the search 3 days of darkness or flash of light, and you could go to that, or Ann Tucker. We have a whole series on what Ann talked about in her book, which was really fun to do. You could look that up as well. Should we still have hope during this inverse stage? Somebody asked in our community. Yes. Inverse stage, I'm assuming, is like just, we're seeing all the light is being shown. Let's just put it that way. The light is brighter on the darkness right now, and we are being shown things we didn't realize existed. Yes. Okay. And so lead team, you are saying, and Wayne would also say, we should have hope during this stage of our ascension. Yes. Very cool. Okay, so somebody wanted to know from Wayne, will all the food become clean and chemical free again? Yes. Will that be in my lifetime? No. Now the question was all the food. So will it be 50% cleaned up in my lifetime? And I'm 57, so it depends on how long I decide to stay here. Yes. So at least 50%. So that's cool. Okay, so we're moving on to John of God questions. Okay, so in terms of John of God, did service for him become mixed with ego at some point? Yes. Did he start with service in mind? Yes, he did. Service to humanity, like with love? Did he start that? Yes. Interesting. So he didn't start this with anything nefarious in mind? No. Okay. This what I find fascinating. Okay, so he obviously gained a huge following, right? Is it possible when that happens that dark, lower vibrations, I don't like talking about like the dark entity stuff, just because we don't need to attract it. So that's all there is to it. Did lower vibration energy, does lower vibration energy go after those who have a big light? Yes. Okay. And so is that what happened to John of God? Yes. Okay. So is it fair to say, which is not something that normally comes out of my mouth, and I'm not religious at all, but is it fair to say that he ended up being possessed by lower energies? Yes. So that is a thing? Yes. Yuck. Okay. Yeah, I saw Exorcist. Didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. Yes, okay. Was John of God knowingly committing fraud? Yes. Even at the beginning of his career? No. Does John of God remember Wayne Dyer? Yes. Did John of God believe he was actually providing healing? Like, did he truly believe he was providing healing to Wayne? Yes. Oh, he did. Okay. So he was knowingly committing fraud. Yes. But he also believed he was healing people? Yes. Is that because there was proof that healing would occur in people? Yes. But that's because people were actually healing themselves. Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. But, then he saw the results and he was like, oh, I guess I'm doing it, Did John of God ever question that maybe people were just healing themselves? No. Okay. So his ego wouldn't allow him to see that he thought he was truly doing it. Yes. Okay. Did he ever have good intentions and truly work for the highest good of all? Yes, he did. Did fame change his intentions? Yes. And ego? Yes. And the lower, okay, so the lower energies just got him to focus, to keep his energy from the ego then, basically. Yes. Okay. Does he regret the harm his actions have caused? Does he regret it now while he's in prison? Yes, he does. Okay, well, that's good. All right. Does he see now that he didn't do the healing? Does he actually see that? No. So he still believes his human still believes he did the healing? Yes. Okay. Has he learned the lesson he came here to learn regarding SA? No. You guys are going to have to just know what SA means. It's the thing he did to women. 600 women have come forward. If someone experiences SA in this life or a previous life, do they have to return as an abuser to balance the karma? No. I was a little nervous where that question was going. No. And is that in the past, up until 2020, I think 2012, would we have done that? Yes. And are we no longer doing that? Like humans we've already decided in humanity, we're done with the karmic looping. Yes. Okay. Well, that's just good. That's good. Very good. Was John of God taken over? Yeah, we already asked that. By low frequency spirits? Yes. And then your ego, you just can't get out of your ego space at that point. Yes. Were his guides that he worked with real? Yes. But his guides at some point, did they recognize that the lower frequencies were able to overtake his ego? Yes. And then at that point, did he stop getting guidance from his guide? I mean, did he stop listening to guidance from his guides? Yes. Okay. And the guides, it's free will, So I'm sure they put plenty of little signs in his way to warn him. Is that the case? Yes. Do our own guides, our own spirit teams do that for us as well? Yes. So question is, are you listening? Am I listening to my own? So we're using this stuff always to look inward. This isn't about Wayne Dyer. This isn't about John of God. This is about what can we learn from them for ourselves, right? So, when are lower frequency spirits bugging us? And when are they able to, overcome us? Because it happens to all of us. And when are we not listening to our own guides? When do we allow the ego to take over and when do we not? And how often do we do it? That kind of thing. Okay, so were the guides, I'm going to ask this one more time, were the guides that John of God worked with real? Yes, so it was his spirit team. Yes. Was one of John of God's guides Solomon from the Bible? What? Yes. They're saying yes. I don't know about that. So obviously somebody heard that. Did some people genuinely receive healing through John of God? Again, yes, but it was because they healed themselves. Yes. Did John of God had anything to do with it? Yes. So what he had to do with it, though, was to give people the belief. Yes. So, but did he physically have anything to do with it? No. He said he literally gave people surgeries. So I don't know. That whole thing, that was weird. Yes. Okay. Okay. Did John of God's work leave an ongoing negative imprint or attachment on some of the people he treated? No. Okay, well, that's good. That's good. Did he cause harm by diverting people away from better medical care? Yes. Yeah, that was a huge issue. Boy, and he is in prison for the SA, but he's not in prison for, think how many people didn't get Wayne Dyer, maybe I don't know. I don't know Wayne's full leukemia story, but the question is, did he not seek out other care because he had healed himself the first time, Now, I do believe that Wayne transitioned when he wanted to, so, there's that, but it's interesting, huh? Did John of God also benefit some of the people he treated? But again, that has to do with them they just had such a belief, so that's good. He did, he was teaching people actually without knowing it, that they can heal themselves. They just have to have such a belief. Yes. If only we could just have that belief, you guys. That's manifestation at its finest. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Was John of God truly a medium? No. Bummer. Did psychic surgery genuinely heal some people? No. Okay, so the psychic surgeries did not heal people. Is that correct? So the psychic surgeries did heal people? No. Okay. So the people who were healed regardless, they were outside of the psychic surgeries? Yes. Was he always an SA predator as an adult? Yes. Was he SA'd as a child by chance? Yes. Was he corrupted by fame and influence? Yes. Was he possessed by whatever or whoever he was channeling? No. No. So there wasn't anything, was he channeling? No. Okay. So that wasn't the issue. But there were low energies that were able to take over his psyche, basically his ego, because he allowed it, because he was so into the ego. Yes. Okay. We know other people like that, don't we? That you got to wonder how much the darker energies, the lower energies are playing a role. And how much do they play a role in our own lives? We definitely want to be taking a look at that. Without fear, of course, you know. Did John of God's own experiences or generational trauma contribute to his abusive behavior? Yes, really wide swing on that. Did he truly want to help people when he first started, which is how we started this conversation? Yes. And then it became more about money, influence, and power? Yes. Was he truly trying to become a cult leader? Yes. So he wanted to become a cult leader, which is amazing that he was found out. And I think that's awesome. And he was held accountable. Why then wasn't, at least in the same way, the JE stuff? It seems like John of God was, and I have to go back and look at the timing. I don't know when somebody first started reporting on him and how that all came out. Did it take as long as this JE stuff is, taking the files, the e-files? Is it taking as long to hold people accountable? I don't know. But it is interesting to me that he, was held accountable so fast. So maybe did John of God have a lot of influence in government and politics? Because that's no. Okay, is that the difference between him and the J files or the E files? Yes. Okay. Did John of God and JE? I don't want to say his name because they'll pop up. His face will pop up in my video down below. They'll advertise him. It's annoying. So I'm not going to say his name. I don't think I did in this video, but I did in the last one, the one I did last night on Michael Jackson. But so, did John of God and JE ever work together? Oh, son of a gun. Yes. Is there anybody JE didn't work with? That is, scummy. Yes. Okay, they're like, yeah, there are people he didn't work with. Okay. Were John of God and JE, along with others around the world, being used by the Committee of 300 to control and exploit innocent people, entertainment purposes only, and allegedly? Yes, I should have said that about all of these. Yes. There we circle right back to the Committee of 300. Now, if you're new here and you're like, what's the Committee of 300? That's a whole rabbit hole you need your nervous system. You will need to have time for your nervous system to adjust if you don't know anything about it. But you could go to our channel and type in Committee of 300 and you'll get some videos. Just take it slow and follow whatever you're comfortable with. And if you're not, just don't, It's something that I'm interested in understanding, but it did take me a while to process a lot of that information. So just take it slow and, stay in a higher vibration. And if you find yourself spiraling to a lower vibration as you explore the Committee of 300. Slow down because it's not worth it. You want to stay in a higher vibration, or just don't go there. That's okay too. Okay, was John of God, this is interesting, a reptilian hybrid? Yes. So he is a reptilian hybrid. Yes. Is he just fully reptilian? No. Is John of God, if we looked into the Epstein, oh shit, I just said his name. Oh, well, just watch. His face was going to show up. He's going to show up below. And I didn't say his full name, so I don't know if it will. But it's annoying that they will, I said this in the video with Michael Jackson, that they probably won't even put Michael Jackson below, but they will put J.E. What? This is YouTube. You know, or if I mention another YouTuber, they probably wouldn't put that person's picture below. Or if somebody mentioned me, they probably wouldn't put me in theirs, but they'll put JE. And I've seen DJT as well. I've seen him. But it's just interesting. I don't really understand that. You guys will have to let me know if you see any patterns like that. It'll be like below like the description or something in somebody's video if they've mentioned it. So is John of God a part? Actually, I mean, I've said John of God and Wayne Dyer. They should both be highlighted below as well, which I'm going to look, because if JE is the only one who's highlighted below, I'm just going to be like, YouTube's going to be getting, you know, like what? I don't, we'll have to see what that's all about. Okay, so is John of God a part of the E-files? Yes. Okay. Interesting. All right, let me know what you guys think. What did you get out of this? How has it helped you from a spiritual perspective? That's really the most important part of these conversations. Is it helping you grow? Is it helping you understand the world differently? Remember, everything is gray. There are no right or wrong answers. Always use your discernment. And stay in a high, keep yourself in the higher vibration of love. And if you ever need clearings, we also have a bunch of energy clearings in a playlist on the channel as well. So, if you're feeling like you need to have a clearing right now, go have one. In fact, I'll pop the clearing playlist right here for you if you want to explore. Just go have a clearing. I kind of feel like I need a little clearing after that. So, all right, you guys, I will see you tomorrow and we'll see what else we can explore. All right, take care. Bye-bye.